Hey, girl, hey, audience, hey, folks joining in. It is your girl Karla. I got Sharde over here with me. It's the Sisterhood Podcast. Woo woo, we in the house, y'all. Two truths in a mic. Bold, raw, and unfiltered is about to be off the chain on today.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is, honey. Yes, it is.
Mm,
And look,
listen,
I'm sorry.
you good, girl. I'm just
I'm
hype.
too
I'm pumped
excited.
up. You hear you? We ready. We here to spill all the tea, the holy all, the everything, because it is going down. This topic is very exciting and personal for us. So we're just ready to get this rocking and rolling and get this going.
And
Yes,
look,
yes, yes.
and I'm Sharde. And listen, today's episode is about to bless you. It's gonna probably stretch you. It's
Mm.
probably gonna call you out a little in love.
Right. Because listen, again, this is a personal one. The topic, of course, I'm wearing my shirt that says it, faith over fear. It's when obedience comes first. And that's a hard pill to swallow. That's something I know that all of us struggle with. That's something that each of us is dealing with day to day. I know I am because I have those moments when I'm like, God is me. And he like, daughter, I know that's you. What's really going on? So we didn't come to keep this podcast cute today. We came to get it so we can get your tissue ready, get your pens out so you can take some notes and get ready so that you can learn that obedience is truly better than sacrifice.
Absolutely, absolutely. And again, like we chose this subject or this topic because both of us in our seasons of our lives, we've had
Mhm,
times where God wanted us to obey
mhm,
and do certain things, and
mhm.
it was a struggle. It was a struggle. And so what I've realized is, like Karla said, obedience is better than sacrifice. So it's all about being obedient, y'all.
And I will tell you this, and I know Sharde, we're just gonna dive right in. Obedience for me in the beginning was hard. It was letting go of those things that I felt were keeping me satisfied, but we keeping this spiritual. I was satisfying flesh. It was the things that I was enjoying because I was saying, "Oh yes, Lord, I love you," and I was going to church and I was logging in for Bible study and going to prayer meeting, and I was going through all the notions, and in my mind and in the view of everybody else, oh, I was the perfect little church girl, but I was just going through the notions and following those steps so it looked good, but yet I was still straddling the fence, and I was still not being obedient and not walking in the path and doing exactly what God wanted me to do. I was kind of basically in limbo, living and having the best of both worlds. And I thought that was okay, and I, would just second guess myself and be like, and justify my actions, But I will say, when I finally started to obey, and I'll get into what led me to get to that obedient standpoint, I just felt a peace that I can't even describe. What you thinking, Sharde? Like, what's on your mind? What them wheels turning? Like, what was the obedient walk for you like?
Well, when I reflect back on my entire life,
Hmm.
when I look back at the age of 22, when God told me to relocate from my hometown of Huntsville, Alabama, shout out to Huntsville. But when I tell you, when God told me that He wanted me to relocate,
Mhm.
it was one of those things where, okay, God, I don't have no family. I don't have no friends. Where you want me to go? He actually wanted me to relocate to Dallas. And so when I tell you that's 12 hours away from where my family is, and when I say it took faith to move,
Mm,
because it's so hard to uproot from somewhere that you've been all your life. And then just doing that, it was so tough. It was tough. It was scary. I was so unsure. But with God, I'm telling you, after I after I made my mind up and I
right.
put that right foot in front of the other one,
Oh, you see it.
I was able to do it and do it with boldness. Now, was I scared? Yes. but I was wanting to be obedient because, like we said, and like we keep saying, obedience is better than sacrifice. And I promise
Mhm.
you, if I would not have relocated, because he wanted, like I said, he wanted to move to Dallas. If I would not have relocated, I would not be where I am today. And I feel like that stepping out on faith,
Mhm.
it ignited something within me. So when certain things pop up in my life, where when I had to relocate to Shreveport, or when I had to step out in business, or just be obedient whatever God was telling me, was I scared? Yes, but I ran to do it because I want God to be pleased with me, and
Right.
I'm afraid. I might be afraid, but I'm gonna do it scared anyway. But God's gonna
Right.
get the glory.
I like that. Do it scared.
I
That's
mean,
what's up.
you have to do it scared,
Yes.
but do it anyway.
Right.
Regardless of how you feel, regardless of how it look, because a lot of times when it comes down to faith, it is not gonna look like
Mhm.
what you want it to look like.
Right.
You're gonna be unsure, you're gonna be uncomfortable, and of course you're gonna be scared. So if you're not gonna do it, you, well, if you're gonna do it, make sure you're doing it and you're doing it with God, because He's gonna get you through it,
Right.
and He's gonna push you into that obedience.
Right. And I think we as women, we struggle with that, and I know every woman can relate. There, we are natural born problem solvers.
Mm-hmm.
We're always the one that takes care of everything, that makes something out of nothing. As we've talked before, we're superwoman. We wear these hats and these capes and we're doing it all. And so sometimes I feel like me, that I kind of put God on the back burner, and I picked him up when it got too much for me. When
Mm-hmm.
all along, I never should have been bearing that anyway. I should have been giving it all to him from the get go. But I was operating from a standpoint of Karla got this, I got this until I didn't have it, and I would hear subtle things from God telling me to let go of certain people, to
Mm-hmm.
let go of certain places, to even leave my job. But in my mind, I'm like, and this was my job before I'm where I am now. And in my mind, like, man, I ain't quitting my job. I got bills to pay. Like,
Come
you know,
on.
and I'm like, what I'm gonna do? And now that I think back, all I'm like is my answer is always, how am I? How am I? How am I? When all along God was just telling me, leave it and give it to me. What about me? What about me? But I was all I.
Mm.
What is that song? And here I am. He's like, but lean on me. All you got to do is follow me, and I'll take care of the rest. And we're not saying that once you, ladies or gentlemen, whoever's tuning in, that when you get on that faith walk, that it's going to be perfect and it's going to be great and grand and he's going to take care of it all. No, the scripture says the weapons were formed, but having that faith in God, them weapons won't prosper. He's
Absolutely.
not right. You're gonna have storms, but he's gonna give you the capability to withstand that storm. He gonna bring your umbrella. So I say all that to say it doesn't mean life is gonna be just grand and easy once you follow him. It's gonna come with some more trials and tribulations. Because the devil, of course, is gonna always be upset. And he gonna want you to give it to God. So he's gonna throw in things. But then also God's gonna give you those challenges that are gonna build you up. So
Absolutely.
once I got to that point where I was like, you know what? I was in a place in my life where I was so disobedient. He had to humble me and basically almost rip the rug from up under me for to be like, you know who I am. Don't just pick me up or come to me like a vending machine and get some, you put something in and then you want something back. That's not how it operates. So when I totally surrendered, and I want y'all to put a pin in that word surrender, because surrender require work. And if you ain't ready to do that work, don't even try it. And so when I truly surrender, it's like even when I'm faced with things that I used to be faced with, I am able to handle them differently because I know where my strength comes from. So just know where your strength comes from. I mean, everything is in his word, like everything you need. I am learning as I'm growing that everything I need is in his word. And you reminded me of something, Sharde. I know one day I was having a busy day and you were just like, he'll never leave you or forsake you. And I was like, oh, so find you that sister circle that can help you. And I was like, and so that was good. That was good. It's hard, it takes work, but it's worthy.
That's powerful when you say, uh, He'll
Hmm.
never leave you nor forsake you. And when I look back, and this might not even have anything to do with
Hmm.
obedience, but it's more so about faith and trust in God. When I look back and I bring up with my daughter, we found out about her congenital heart defect. It's nothing like going through that kind of storm and you
Hmm.
don't know or what to lean on, but you have Jesus to lean on. You have God to lean on, and He is your comforter. And when you go through certain storms, and while you're in the storm, you're like, okay, God. Sometimes you're like, well, why me? Why did you choose me? Why did I have to go through this? But He is going to bring you out because faith without works is dead.
Woo.
So
Say it
yes,
again from sis. I ain't hear you. Repeat that
faith,
one more time.
look, faith without works is dead. So even in the
Mm-hmm.
midst of the storm, we didn't see our way out, but we was dependent on the word. We was dependent on God. And as we were going through that, He was sailing us through the storm. It would be clouds, it would be rain, but as we were sailing through, after a while, we started seeing the sunshine. But it was
Wow.
because we trusted and we had faith that God is going to see us through. And so I don't know if that who that is for, but whatever you might be going through today, whatever storm that you might be going through today, you have to trust and believe that God is going to make a way, and He will never leave you nor forsake you. Because I'm telling you, when we were in the hospital with my little girl, and it looked like we wasn't she wasn't going to get out, or it looked, or the doctors would say one thing, but I was believing and had faith that God was going to do another. And that's what He did. Because of our faith and because of the God that we serve, He brought her through, and now we're able to tell her story. So whatever storm that you're going through, know that God is going to see you through regardless
Right.
of what it looked like. And never be afraid to take a step, because guess what? God is going to be right there with you.
Right. That's it. That's it. So literally, I mean, in a nutshell, what you just said, which is so powerful and so deep, you chose faith over feelings. And when we expand on that, when I think about that, I think of faith over fear, the fear of losing your child,
Yes.
faith over anxiety.
Or
Because you could have
depression. Come on.
preach faith over anxiety, faith over depression, faith over not knowing if or what the outcome would have been of her surgery. But instead of worrying yourself, you gave it to God, and therefore you and your husband could not only be strong for each other, but you could also be strong for your child. And you could be strong for your other child who's at home worried about her sister. So instead of you letting your emotions get the best of you, you chose to just have faith. That's right there is enough to just say pass the collection plate, we done.
Look, stick a pin in what you said.
Right. Because, when I think about us acting on feelings versus us acting on faith, feelings
Ooh,
give you temporary gratification.
for sure.
Feelings aren't long lasting. You know what I
No.
mean? Feelings will
And they
come.
change.
Yes, yes. So you can't depend on that. You can't act on how you feel today. You just got to have faith because faith anchors you.
It sure does.
That's your substance, that's your core. So we can't just be out here acting on our feelings, and we got to seek him. We always want to seek a solution on our own because we think we can handle it all. I always tell people when I first started this journey too, I would be like, okay, God, I give it to you. I promise, Lord, I take my hands off of it, I give it to you. And then I remove my hand, but I still leave my pinky finger
A
on it.
little bit.
Listen, girl, because the control freak in me felt like I still need to help God out. And he
And then
looking
you
down at me like, I don't need your help.
feel like you can do it better than he can. But once you realize that he's in control and he's gonna take care of you, he can do it way better than you.
Right.
Okay, that's when your hands got to come up off of it.
Mhm. And I ain't gonna lie. Listen, I'm gonna be real. I didn't had to bump that head a lot of times for him to be like, when you just gonna let this go? Like, daughter of mine, when you gonna stop trying to put your little 2 cents in it? So
But
I'm
that's
just
all of us.
yes. We micromanagers. We in certain areas we feel like we just gotta have that control. I gotta get a Lord a pep talk. I gotta let him know how I want him to work this thing out.
You're like, I
No,
already worked that thing out though. He said, I already worked it out.
it's already
What
done.
about
And
you?
here we are. We sitting back here just struggling, stressed out, mad.
Word.
You hear you spiritually empty, cup just empty. We can't even, we on Bible study, and I'm trying to, especially I've learned to start going back in person and not on the computer because I'm sitting here trying to multitask and do this, that, and other instead of giving him my divided time, my devoted time or
Yeah.
whatever. So yeah, it's just about getting over myself. And that was my biggest struggle, was getting over me, and just getting to a point where I just had to choose to have faith. And I had to learn, because I know Sharde, you and I both, y'all, we can sit here and tell y'all we on the go. Literally, I'm running 90 to nothing, doing this, that, and the other. I'm a nurse practitioner. I'm doing mentoring. I'm teaching on the weekends. You over here doing hair, planning events, holding down your full-time job, running the foundation.
Yes,
Y'all, we
ma'am.
all over the place. And we have faith, but we tend to, again, like I say, we don't fill that cup up enough, and we don't take the time to just be still. And I think as we as women, I need y'all to start, self-care is important, but let some of your self-care be just being still. And when I say being still, I mean really taking advantage and enhancing your faith, not just reading the word, but making notes about how you can apply that word to your current situations. It's going that extra step. It's not just waking up in the morning and praying, it's waking up in the morning and praying. And then after you pray, be still to hear from Him. And that was my problem. I pray, God, I thank you for, say my spiel, do my prayers, amen. And then I'm up and out the door. No, you have to take the time to meditate on that prayer and on his word and hear from him. So if I can encourage anybody, if you're going through something and you find yourself just all over the place, maybe you just need to be still.
It says, be still and know that He is God.
And we don't take the time enough to be still. And even a part of my self-care, I include filling up my spiritual cup now in my self-care day. I do my pampering for my physical health, and I do my pampering for my mental health because I journal. That's what I choose to do. But as far as my faith, I put them feelings of anxiety aside, knowing that I may have 10 things to do, and I feel like I need to take the 10 minutes that I may have set aside for my spiritual cup. In my mind, I'm running like I could be doing this, this, and this. But no, that time is necessary. And that's when that obedience comes in. So
Sure
I'm
do.
making sure I am not squeezing God in, that He is a permanent place. Oh, that's good. A permanent
He's a
place
permanent priority.
on my agenda. Yes, I'm not gonna make room for Him. I'm gonna put Him first and make room for the other things.
That's good. That's good. I'm gonna ask you something, Karla.
Uh-huh.
Let me ask you something. So, hmm,
Go on, lay it on me, girl.
share a story with me about when you had to be obedient and what was hard about it and why it was necessary.
So I remember when I got my first degree as a nurse practitioner, and I was offered two jobs. And I'll just be honest, one job paid more than the other job. And so flesh in me felt like I need to take the job that's making more money, because I'm
Mhm.
thinking about what all more I can provide for my family. What can I do? Generational wealth, being able to do more, do this. I got a kid that's getting ready to go to college. I can do this, I can do that. Just I can save more, just thinking all the things. And then the other job just didn't seem as appeasing. So I gave it to God. I fasted and I did a true fast and I prayed and I said, Lord, you show me signs of what job to take. And lo and behold, the job that I dreamed about and that he revealed to me was the job that was paying just a little bit less and just seemed just a little bit more not as appealing as the other one. And so old me would have been like, old me kind of still was there. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna just take this other one and work it out. Like, you sure, Lord? And I just questioned. And then I was like, you know what? Fine. It is what it is. I'm in a place in my life where I trust him and I know that the best is yet to come. So I took the job that the flesh in me didn't want. I took the job that God revealed to me that I needed to take. Needless to say, I'm so thankful that I was faithful to his
Mm-hmm.
word. And I'm so grateful that I was still and I moved where he said move, because the corporation that I thought I wanted to go to ended up being shut down because the feds raided them for Medicaid fraud. And I'm just being real. So God protected me, and I get emotional because he is good.
Me
Despite me
too.
still trying to choose what Karla wanted, he still covered me. He protected me. He protected my nursing license. I didn't have because if I would have went to that place, I'm pretty sure I would have. We were all they lost their jobs, so that would have been a source of income gone. Regardless if it was more money or not, it would have
Yeah.
been gone. Who knows what I would have had to do as far as my license is concerned, because there were some things that were done illegally. So God protected my license is my livelihood. So I thank God
Yeah.
for me being obedient, and he protected my lifeline. So for
Ain't
me,
it good?
all I can do is encourage anyone listening or watching. Be still and know that God is God, that he will never leave you or forsake you, and he will see about those who follow him, because he covered me and he protected me. And that incident was I was already where I kind of going where I wanted to be in my spiritual journey, but that was my wow moment. Like, Karla, look what he did for you. Like, he looked out for you, he covered you, he protected you, even though I felt, looking back, I wasn't even worthy.
Mm.
I wasn't worthy, but he still, despite, looked out for me. And from ever since, I really try to walk that being obedient. So if that's my testament, that's my story. I have a few more, but that one right there, that could have. I mean, that's my nursing career is that's me. I
Your
don't know life
livelihood. Yeah.
without nursing, and he
Yeah.
protected me from possibly having that ripped right up from up under me.
You made me think about when I was relocating from
Hmm.
Dallas to here, and I didn't want to move here. Like
Hmm.
that was not something that I really wanted to do. But
Gotcha.
then God was like, start applying for jobs. So I had started applying
Hmm.
for, I think I applied for probably one or two jobs. And
Gotcha.
within the week, I got a call back. But they wanted me to come in person, but my job in
Mm.
Dallas wouldn't allow me to. So I was like, okay, God, I'm trusting that you're going to
Wow.
work this thing out, that they're going to allow me to interview maybe on the weekend. So, anyway, when I finally ended up talking to the supervisor at the other job here in
Yes.
Freeport, she was like, "Oh yeah, you can come and interview on a Saturday." Now,
Right.
remind you,
Saturday.
Saturday, remind you, I was like, "Okay, God, this is not nothing that I
Mhm.
really want to do, but I really want to be obedient to you."
Right.
And so after applying, and then I came down here to do the interview. Like I said, she did the interview on a Saturday. Do you know that woman offered
Mm.
me a job the day on that day? Uh,
You were
but
obedient.
yes, ma'am. But that's why I said if we obey
Mhm.
God and we do the things that He
Right.
is leading us to do, it will open doors that no man can shut.
Mhm.
And so for her to give me that much, well, God gave me that much favor for me to be able to have an interview on a Saturday. She offered me the job and she worked with me. Like, she didn't give me no hard time
Mhm.
about me relocating, and it made it real smooth when I came down here to Shreveport. So I can honestly say, like, if I would not have did that and been
Right,
obedient, I tell you, I probably wouldn't even be here in
right,
Shreveport at all. And
right.
so,
And you know what? I mean to cut you off, but I hear you. And immediately when you said the transition was smooth, that was a God move.
God moved.
Because anybody sit here and everybody can think of a time when you did something and you know it really wasn't what you were supposed to be doing.
Come on now.
And however, when you do things and it's from God, it's a smooth transition. There's no bumps, there's no rocky roads,
Yes.
there's nothing, because you know you're operating in his will. And so when you said that smooth, it just immediately hit to me, because he's smooth,
He's
he's
so
gentle,
smooth, and
he's calm.
he takes care of us.
Yes,
And
yes,
anytime you're doing something where you're making this huge step, and God, you're surrendering to Him, you're like, God, I just want to be obedient, and I can say
right.
that in that moment of me
Hmm.
doing that, me starting applying for jobs, and then Him opening that door, and then even when I relocated here, baby, we got our apartment. It just how He did it. It was a God
Right,
thing. So that's why it's so important to be obedient to what God is telling you to do. And instead
right.
of using our feelings, we have to use our faith,
Mm.
because our feelings
And you know,
get us in trouble. Look, our feelings are
you
gonna
that's
get
what
us,
I was just about to say. Because
yeah,
listen,
uh,
look,
it'll
Sharde,
get us
can
in
we think
trouble.
about some times that feelings have gotten us in trouble, especially young before we
Yes,
knew the Lord, but He protected us even then.
yes. He was covering us, and He's covering us every
Mhm,
step. So I mean, when I look back over my life, I can
mhm.
honestly say that it has been Him. And
Right.
without me having just a small mustard seed faith,
Mm,
like, I wouldn't be where I am and who I am today. And then it even goes into how what everything went on with my daughter, and
mhm,
then it's other testimonies too.
mhm.
But
Right.
God God is so good, y'all. If you just take
Yes.
that step of faith and trust God, all things are possible, y'all. I'm
Right.
telling y'all. If you just look at me and you look at Karla's life,
Mm,
you can just see that God has had his hands on us, and it's all about being obedient.
right. And I think about it, I'll be like, look, sometimes obedience isn't cute,
It's your
but
life.
it's real. You
It's
know, it's
real.
real. And I know some of us, I'm finna step on some toes and make some people upset, but you know that you might be laying beside somebody that God said that ain't the one.
Come on.
So you listen, so you got to get out of them feelings. You
If
know,
cause,
you definitely
'cause-
have to get out of your feelings. Stop letting your feelings. It's some situations that you're in right now, or as the young kids say, situationships that you know
yeah,
that you shouldn't be in, but you're in them. So it's you got to let
because
go of
you're comfortable.
feelings.
Come on,
Yes,
because you're comfortable.
yes, yes, and you got to get out of being comfortable and complacent. I stayed
Yes.
on a job longer than I should have, even though I knew my assignment was up, because I had mastered everything there. And I was comfortable, and I didn't have to learn anything else, and I knew I could run it with my eyes closed. But God said, "No, there is greater in store for you. So I need you to step out on faith and go into these uncharted waters, and I need you to do what I said do." And I was like, I ain't stepping out on there, even with thoughts of even this podcast. This was the most
Hmm.
scariest decision ever that I believe that you and I made.
Yeah,
And I was like,
yeah,
Sharde, I'm not ready. I was like, girl, what we gonna do? I was like, this is real deal. And here we are doing it. We doing
we
it
doing it.
scared. However, we have the faith to know that what we're doing is through him. And so as long as we're giving him the glory, he's going to see us through, and we're going to be able to minister to somebody else. So I want all those who are listening in to know, if you know that you're in something, that that you just know is uncomfortable. You know it's not right. The Holy Spirit is giving you all the signs and the symptoms, all them red flags there, but you let them feelings keep you in it. Because as
Mm.
my mama used to say, because we all adults, everything that feel good to you ain't good for you.
It sure ain't. It's not. It's not.
So, I mean, you just have to learn to, and as you get older, you will notice, and this I think is hard for us as females too, because we're genuinely concerned for people. But you have to sometimes let go of those people. And
You
that
have
could
to.
be family, and that could even
Family,
be friends.
friends, situations, places, all of that.
Yes. And hanging out with that group of friends may feel good, but if it feel good at the moment and then 2 days later you're regretting what you did with those friends, then that's God letting you know that circle of friends you may have outgrown. Everybody is not meant to go season to season with you. So ladies, I'm speaking with letting go of some of those relationships and even friendships that are keeping you from walking into your full potential, that are keeping you from being who God has created you to be, because you're caught up in the fact that you don't want to hurt their feelings. But at the same time, man, you might not be hurting their feelings, but you're selling yourself short.
And you're hurting God's feelings because He already
Ooh.
showing you red flags. He's already showing you, hey, baby, it's time for you to move because I have something better for you. And until you make that step, honey, you're not going to know what better group of friends, what better rooms He's going to put you in.
And listen, we all know when we can feel that we didn't outstayed our welcome.
Yes.
you
Yes.
know, we know when we've outstayed our welcome in people's lives, when people have outstayed their welcome in our lives, and sometimes you just have to forgive them and let
And
it
move
go
on.
and
We
move,
have to
ooh, move on.
move on
Because again,
with
having,
love.
yes,
I'm sorry, I
and
meant to interrupt you.
you fine, girl. And I feel like when you truly are obedient, it just unlocks the door to open into a level of peace. And I'm gonna quote the peace that surpasses all understanding. Like it just gives you a sense of calmness. Now, things that occur now in my life, like trials and tribulations, would have me worked up, nervous,
Mhm.
stomach upset, can't eat, can't sleep. Now I sleep like a baby, regardless of the outcome, because I know at the end of the day, if God brought me to it,
Gonna bring you
baby,
through it, baby.
you hear you better finish it for me, because if he bring you to it, he gonna bring you through it. But you got to be rooted in faith so that you can, bear fruit that's healthy fruit that keeps you spiritually, mentally, physically filled. Like I always talk about, lack of faith will keep you empty, and you can't operate from a spirit of being empty. You
Mm-mm.
can't pour into anybody else if you empty on your own. But having that faith to keep you grounded will keep you where you need to be so that you can be all that you need to be for you and whoever else that you love. And I'm just speaking some realness. And I know there are probably so many people out there listening that can relate and just be like, oh, but it's hard. And it is hard. It's
It
hard because
is.
we're so used to acting on flesh. But Lord, once you just give it over to Him, I'm telling you that peace, what greater peace than knowing it's like He your, what's the thing? You know how you can jump out when when the firefighters put the little big tarp down when people jump out of burning buildings. He's that under you. He your safety net. So why not? What better safety net than Him? What better safety net
There
than
is
Him?
no better safety net
Mhm.
because
Mm.
he's a keeper. What the
Right.
old people say, he's a keeper. You realize that as you get older, that he
Mhm.
is a keeper, and so we have to be obedient when it comes down to things that God is telling us to do because it's gonna you don't know what what you're doing may open a door for somebody else,
Right.
and you
Right.
don't know that. Just like with me starting the Deny Strong Foundation.
Hmm.
When I tell you that's not nothing that I wanted to do, meaning it chose me. because
Mm.
it chose me
That's wow.
because now we're able to share about, congenital heart disease,
Hmm.
signs and symptoms, to be able to help somebody else. We're able to share our story about what the doctor said, hey, we don't think that she's going to make it, but God
Mm.
had other plans. But
Mm.
me to go through all of that, go through that trauma, go through all of that, and to still be able to share the goodness of God, to be able to share about
Mm.
her testimony, and to be able to help other people, that's
Yeah.
that's nothing but a faith move,
Right.
because you don't actually know how it's going to work out. Might
Hmm.
not even have all the funds. You might not have everything, but you know you have God.
Right.
You know that he's going to help you. You know that without faith it's impossible to please him. So while I'm doing this, I know I'm being obedient to him.
Right.
And so, like
Man.
I said, starting a nonprofit organization,
Hmm.
and going through what we went through, it's been the best. It's been the greatest blessing, because on the other side of
Hmm.
being scared to do it, we have gotten so many people who have sent us messages and said, man, I heard you on the radio, or I heard you on the TV.
Hmm.
You blessed me. I saw you on the chat, the news,
Right.
and just hearing your testimony, hearing what you went through.
Right.
I went through that with my child. So you don't know. Look, I'm over here scared to talk about it, or scared to
Right.
step out on faith and do a thing. But here it goes. Like, okay, that's why he wanted me to do it, was to
Right.
be able to
Right.
help somebody
Right.
else, encourage somebody else, and let them know, hey, you can make it. And so, like you were saying, well, for those out there who are afraid to do anything, baby,
Yes.
you have to trust him, because I'm telling you, that was nothing that I was like, okay, I want to do. I was
Right.
scared to do it.
Yes.
But God, and but
Mhm.
God, he's been able to help people through our organization. He's been able to bless children through our organization with our toy drive and certain things that we do. So if I wouldn't have did it,
Right.
I wouldn't have known who the different people that we've been able to bless, and we wouldn't have
Right.
been able to touch as many people that we have touched. So
Amen.
all I can say is, when you are afraid to do a thing, like we said earlier, do it anyway and trust God, because obedience, at the end of the day, like the word says, is better than sacrifice. And he is going to show it back to you, like, hey, I know you were scared to do this, but look at the outcome.
Right.
You have to trust God for the outcome, even being scared of things and being unsure of things, even being uncomfortable with things.
Well, Sharde, I want to actually just, you my girl, and y'all, she's laid it all out there. I mean, we created this podcast to be transparent, because I think transparency goes a long way. So for us to share our real deal struggle,
Mhm.
even though we are Christian women, we still struggle with having that faith, that 100%, I'm all in God faith, that mustard
Yeah,
seed faith, because flesh is real and sometimes it gets the best of you. But we're out here telling you, though, still, despite all of that, if you continue to trust in Him and just have that faith and be obedient, He will see you through. So as we're
sure will.
getting ready to, wrap everything up, I think Sharde has given us some wonderful pointers. Like, girl, you did your thing, you've blessed me. Like, I'm about to, when we get off here, I got some notes I need to take from some things that you shared with me. But I just want y'all to realize, and I guess a way of being my closing thoughts would be, I think of feelings, and I think feelings are short lived, but faith
Mm-hmm.
is eternal,
It sure is.
and I tell him, I just want to drive And now I'm gonna start, I don't want to drive, I want to ride. And
Yeah,
I'm gonna
let
let
him take over.
God take the steering wheel, and take over, because for so long I've been the one that tried to steer down the path, and now I want him to steer, my path. And so if I can't leave you with anything else, just try him. And it takes baby steps. It's not something that you can do overnight, but you can begin to do small things of letting him take control and giving it to him. And again, that takes though time from you, spending time in his word, spending time praying, journaling, meditating, everything. And I think of faith as my workout, as my
Yeah,
muscle.
yeah.
Every yes, girl, every yes that I say to God is like a rep. You know how you work out
Come
and you
on
do
now.
repetitions? You do repetitions with your
Yeah,
dumbbells and your weights. Baby, my prayer life is a weight. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? My
yeah.
Bible study is a weight. All of those things. And every time I do a series of reps, I get stronger in my faith. So we're
Yeah.
telling you, build your faith up and let that be your muscle and your reps. So if I can't say anything, just start with small 2-pound weights and work your way up to 10. So my closing remarks are just be still and know that God is God. Baby steps. But I promise you, when you surrender and give it to him and just step out on faith, he can do things that you can't do. I promise you that. I'm pretty sure there's so much more we want to share. There's so much more we can say. We will probably run this topic back, and discuss some more things and dive deeper into things that we actually did, as well, and share some even more testimonies so that
Mhm.
you're not out there alone. You're not out here by yourself. There are real women like us out there, and we know it. And we're just here to encourage you, to inspire you, man, to motivate you, to
Yeah,
know the best is yet to come. You just got to put in a little bit of work, but it gets easier because now I feel lost when I don't have my prayer time. I feel like
yeah.
my day is off. You know what I'm saying? So when you get used to being obedient, when you get disobedient, then that's when that chaos creep in, and you'll notice. And that's because you've gotten out of alignment. So you got to stay the path. Sis, you got any final thoughts?
Listen, everything that Karla said was so good. But my final thoughts would be, baby, y'all trust God when you can't trace him. Because
Oh,
it's going to be times in your life where you're not
mm,
going to see it all and you're going to be so uncomfortable. But my God, he got me. And if you don't feel like nobody else got you, he
mm.
got you. And he going to see you through. And trust him. Trust him. Be
Wow,
obedient. Be obedient to him. And he is going to bless you in ways you can't even imagine just because of your obedience.
that's good, sis. Trust him when you can't trace him. That's
I mean,
deep.
you have to. You have to. Baby, we don't see the stairwell half the time. We don't know what's on the other side of our yes half the time, just like
Mm,
with the podcast. We don't know what's
yeah.
on the other side of our yes. But with the yes, it's
Mm,
going to be tough. But at the end of the day, I said yes because I want to obey God,
right.
because I trust him. And I know that with my yes, it's going to bless somebody because it's
Mm,
not all about me. It's all
right.
about him. And so
That's
what we're
good.
doing is going to help somebody out there, whoever is struggling, whoever is going through something, it's going to help them get through, and it's going to help them pick up their word more. It's going to help them
Yes.
stay encouraged and find them a Bible-based church that's going to help them to work on that faith over our
Mm,
feelings. We got to get out of
right.
our feelings and trust God. So
Exactly.
trust him.
That's good, sis. And I feel like our challenge for this week should be make a list of areas in your life where you haven't had faith, where you haven't surrendered. Make a list of things that you need to let go of. Make a list of things you need to surrender, and pick one thing off of that list and work towards doing that for the next few weeks, and just see how good it feels and how much peace you get in that area once you surrender and let it go to God. Because again, peace follows obedience,
It sure does.
chaos follows disobedience.
It sure does. Because, baby, that Holy Spirit going to convict you.
Yes. So keep the faith, be strong. We love you. We're here for you.
Yes,
I
we
hope
are.
that you've enjoyed this podcast. I hope it shed light and given you just a inkling of to keep pushing. If you are in a dark place, if you are in a place where you feel like God doesn't even see you and hear you, He does.
You
He
sure
just
does.
wants you to keep reaching out to Him, keep praying, keep fasting, keep being obedient. The best is yet to come. Don't give up on Him because He's never let up on you. So until next time, this is me and my girl Sharde. We are the Sisterhood Podcast. Y'all be safe, be blessed. We love you. We're out. Mwah.
We're out.